600. That's the number of unsolved murders in the city of Toronto. Now, most of those are over 20 years old. Those cases long buried in boxes, waiting for some new information, some new lead, some way to bring justice to the victims and their families. Problem is, Toronto police only have 3 detectives and 1 detective sergeant tasked with solving those cases full time. Now, they can bring in more resources, but only when they have grounds, and grounds means new information, and that's something that doesn't come easy.
It's not as simple as it is on TV.
That's Detective Sergeant Stacy Gallant. He's spent over a decade trying to solve murders, and for the past several years, he's been trying to solve old murders, cases that have gone cold. He's also been tasked with sharing typically disappointing news to victims' loved ones.
They'll call in and ask, do you have anything new? Is there any progress in my son or daughter's cases, or whatever family member it is there any progress in it? And a lot of time, most of the time, because of the sheer numbers that we have, it is there is no progress. It was investigated to the full amount that it could have been at the time. No further information has come in. But if further information does come in, we will certainly look at it and try and progress it from there.
It's multifaceted. It's not just the police. There are people in the community that would have information, or someone. So it takes the community, it takes the police, it takes that village that we used to be. We're no longer a village. The village has been broken.
Audette knows. Her son Justin was only 19 when he was gunned down 16 years ago. He was about to start college in the States. Instead, he's one of 600 people on Gallant's desk.
I'm not here to bash the police and say they're not doing their job. What I'm saying is you cannot put your expectation, because they are relying on getting information. I mean, maybe forensic, maybe technology, but most importantly, from the community.
And the community doesn't always talk. That's part of the reason behind the 77 unsolved murders over the past 3 years. It's also contributing to an increasing number of unsolved homicides. But that's only part of the story behind the numbers. Technology helps to capture the right suspect, but going through phone records, bank accounts, social media reactions to the murder, and hundreds of hours of surveillance tape takes time. A lot of time.
Sometimes these cases take a year, 2 years to get to the point where we can arrest someone. And, for a case not to be solved within 6 or 8 months, that's not abnormal in today's day and age. It takes a long time sometimes to get to the point where we have, all our investigative files completed. We have everything ready to go, that we can successfully arrest someone and put them before the court and hopefully get a conviction for that murder.
The other problem is manpower. There are 6 teams of 8 homicide detectives, and they work a case as hard as possible. But it doesn't take long for them to get a new case, meaning a new priority.
They're getting another murder 4 or 5, 3, sometimes 3 weeks later.
Which means efforts are directed there. Gallant says he'd love to have more cold case officers, but says the priority has to be on solving new cases, where the information is fresh before it gets cold.
Would I like to have more investigators in cold case? Sure. But at the same time, I'd like to have 3 more or 4 more teams in the main homicide office.
Now, there is hope for cold cases. For example, that team recently broke a pretty big case, the 1990 murder of Surinder Parma. Now, he was a gas attendant found stabbed to death in a Scarborough men's room. They reopened the case, re-examined the DNA using new technology, and ultimately made an arrest.